I don't know.
Okay, so just to finish this conversation that could go on for hours, and I know there's a lot of more material on your site, but where is this, if we can summarize it, where this is heading, what it means to human being, to our day lives, to all of that on a practical level, keeping it practical, what does that mean?
Let's start over with another one. And that is, we have joined with HeartMath out of Stanford. And HeartMath is, when they began to they studied the heart.
Mm-hmm.
And when they were studying the heart, uh, they wanted to be, since they're a science, they're a science and they're a university, they didn't want to get into spiritual stuff because that's too dangerous with credibility. And so they began with the U.S. government, the CIA, the FBI, the military, and all those units, and the police force and the fire departments, and began to teach them things about breathing that has changed the way war and all these things take place. It's really altered it, but we don't know this is going on. And just say with the police departments, if a policeman goes into say he goes into a building where somebody's just killed, maybe somebody's killed their partner with a gun or something. And he goes in there and everybody's crazy and they're screaming and there's blood all over. And that policeman is just a human being. And they go in there and they get their heart rate elevates and they basically go crazy for a little while. They go out of coherence.
Mm-hmm.
And they do whatever they can do. But now, because of Stanford, they go back to their police car. They sit in their car with their heart rate, and they're totally out of balance. And they have a little tiny machine in there that they put their finger on it. And they've been taught to breathe in a certain way that they've learned about from what they've learned about the heart. And within about 1 minute, a green light will go on and shows that they have now come back into coherence. That last event has no effect on them at all now. Nothing. It's like it never happened. They're totally back into their body, and that's where HeartMath was going for a long time. Recently, a few months ago, they have chosen us, the School of Remembering, to join with us and to go begin to move in the spiritual consciousness levels. And we're very honored by that, really.
Mm-hmm.
And so we're beginning to work with them. Well, they have now shown us all their science about the human being. And when you're an ordinary human being, all human beings, without exception, if you're alive, you've got this, that every time your heart beats, there is this massive magnetic field that starts from there and goes out from there and begins to expand out to, right now they found approximately 7 to 8 feet around the body, and it's a toroidal field. It's rotating, turning, and coming in, but it's magnetic. But it was caused by an extreme, massive amount of electricity that was necessary to form that. Science cannot figure out how that's possible, but still. HeartMath has been able to show that it's a fact. They can measure it, they can use the measuring thing, they can see it all, and see it's all true. Well, what they've now found is that when two human beings are close enough to touch, if their fingers can touch, even if they're stretched out and they can touch, that their magnetic fields begin to merge. And you literally begin to link on all kinds of levels, even if you don't know the person. You're standing in a bus. These fields start linking and start doing all this stuff. Well, with a little bit of consciousness, you can not just link it, you can bring your senses out onto the outer edge of it, and you can see and sense and feel 360 degrees, not just straight ahead. And this we're doing now. This is fact. And so now we know that there's forms of meditation you can do that using these magnetic fields, which are part of your Merkaba. They're connected into it, that are just amazing. I mean, it's just, people just go crazy. I mean, when they find it out, because you can go sit in a restaurant and you see someone, and if you want them to connect with you, you can connect with them, and they're going to come over and connect with you almost every single time, because something just pulls them over, and it begins another form of communication that we never knew existed. And this is another one of the levels of science that we're working with, which is, it is beautiful and demonstratable and amazing. But now HeartMath has discovered that that's a biomagnetic field, but the geomagnetic field of the Earth, the whole thing, this huge thing, you don't have to go up there to connect to it. It's passing through you when you're in your body. And they have proven scientifically now that your biomagnetic field links with the geomagnetic field. And they can show that every last person on Earth right now is linked to the geomagnetic field. And we are all linked together as one. Mm-hmm. We just don't know it. And it just takes a little bit of consciousness, and you can begin to communicate on levels with the whole Earth or with people anywhere that we never knew was possible. And this is real. And the Berkman currents go beyond it. But so we're studying both of these things right now. But the
applications really are telepathy, or what, time travel, or all-knowing? I mean, what are we having access to?
We don't know these things yet. We don't know. We are doing the research to find out how big this is and what we can do. But we know that we can connect into the Earth's geomagnetic field, and you can feel everybody connected to you. It is scientific fact. And so it's just a matter of us learning how to tune to this and connect to everybody. If everybody connects to everybody, what does that mean? Are we still going to be able to fight each other if we're feeling each other's hearts? We may be looking at the end of this kind of our world that is so crazy and just built on ego. But you can't get there. You can't get to this place where you connect consciously with your magnetic field, your biomagnetic field, or with the Berkman currents if you're in your ego. You have to pass through this thing in your heart where you get to a place where there's no ego. Otherwise, you can't do either one of these things. So I'm not so concerned about what happens if we get in there and try to misuse this or anything. I don't think you can misuse it. And I think that Mother Earth and Father Sky has a long time ago made it this way.
There's one little tiny question I have before we finalize, we finish this interview, regarding, I think you mentioned in some of your teachings that there is this one thing that we can do where you can decide to disappear and boom, you're off. If you go too far into something, then zoop, there's no more John Vallow. And it's a little bit of a dangerous spot, or one that if you go there, you don't return.
It's not really dangerous. You won't really get hurt. You just might leave before you want to. We taught a very specific form of meditation. This meditation came directly from the Ascended Masters. There are about 8,000 of them alive. Maybe it's gone up higher now. It may even approach even 9,000. But there's a specific number of them. And over half of them use this method that we're going to talk about. And so we know it works. And we know that anybody that knows how to get in and knows how to connect all the glands in their head, and it's a teaching that you have to do. And you can go through the school, or anybody can go through the school of remembering and get that. Mm-hmm. And so there is a way where when you're in a very specific area of your heart consciously, it's in the Vedas 6,000 years ago, they called it the tiny space, so we call it the tiny space too. And when you're in that spot, you can make a link directly to the heart chakra, and from there you'll find that there is another heart on this side of your body, but it is fourth dimensional, not third dimensional. And that's talked about in Hinduism, like Ramana Maharshi, for example, thousands of years ago also. So it's not, or hundreds of years ago. It is just another way of perceiving. And so from there, you can go over there, and when you do, you can make these 290-degree turns, and when you do, it connects you to the center of the galaxy, at which point the galaxy will bring you and your body into the next level of existence and place you perfectly there. And it's worked for thousands of people, and it'll work for anyone that wants to do that. But what this new thing we're doing is that we have been told that we can do this. Maybe not very many people will be able to do it, but we can do this. And so I've completed that body of work, and the School of Remembering is a totally finished thing. They don't need to know anything else. But we're now starting on something brand new. And
Yeah. How is that going to be called?
Right now we're calling it beingness. The way to do is to be. It's about being, not if you want to do anything, it's all about essence. And if you become it in that essence, you can create anything or do anything in your life, achieve anything you want without even lifting a finger. It's all about it being in alignment with the universe. And so we may change the name of that. I don't know later, because we just, in the process of learning that, that's when we learned about the Berkman currents. And so
awesome.
I don't know.
Well, thank you, John Vallo, for taking the time and answering all my questions. I'm sure all the beautiful co-creators watching this video have tons of questions for you, and I'm sure, as usual, you'll know how to answer them or do your Google Hangouts or some more videos, etc. So thank you for taking the time to do this video.
All right. Thank you, Lilu.
Thank you.
Thank you. Until next time. Okay. Bye-bye.